Okay, we're gonna begin. Good evening and Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
The regular meeting of the mayor and the city council, Port Allen, Wednesday, January 8, 2025, council chambers. Each person must decide before entering the chambers which agenda item they wish to comment on. If they are not seated in the chambers when the agenda item is heard, they will be notified by an officer to enter the council chambers to address the agenda item. Agenda, please silence all electronic devices. Call to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May be seated. At this time, before we start with the approval of the minutes, I ask for a moment of silence for the New Orleans victims and their families in the tragedy of New Year's Day. Thank you. Can I get a roll call?
Mrs. Joseph?
Present.
Mrs. Gordon?
Here.
Mr. Hubble?
Here.
Ms. King? Here. Ms. Payne?
Here.
Five present.
Okay, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of December 11, 2024.
Make a motion.
Okay, it was motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilman Hubble. Any comments from the audience on the minutes? Hearing none, can we get a roll call?
Ms. Joseph? Present. Ms. Gordon?
Yeah.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. King? Here. Ms. Payne?
Here. Yes.
Motion approved.
Public comments from the public are allowed in accordance with LAR-S-42:11, Section 2 through 34, and specifically limited to an agenda item to be considered during the meeting. 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic. Okay, we have no one that signed in. Consider the appointment of Ms. Rose Roche as municipal clerk, R-S-33:386. I ask that the council do a vote on this.
We didn't have to open it up for,
Have to open it up.
That's it. So the mayor is nominating Ms. Rose.
okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll need a motion, a second, and a vote.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, it was motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Mr. Hubble. Can I get a roll call?
Ms. Joseph? Present. Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. King? Here. Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Yes.
Okay, also consider the appointment, number 8, consider the appointment of Hammond, Seals, Atkins, Geis, Noah.
7, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's skip. Okay, number 7, consider the appointment of Adrain as tax collector, R-S-33:386. And what this is, normally in the past, the CFO has been the tax collector in the past, not anything set in stone. The past, Mr. Daigle has helped get the taxes together. He's done the tax sales with the parish, and I just think, he should be the person nominated for this position. Also with yes, and he did the millage with the legislative auditors. So,
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
okay. Motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilwoman Joseph. Hearing none, can we get a roll call?
Ms. Joseph? Present. Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Ms. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. King? Yes. Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, number 8. Consider the appointment of Hammond, Seals, Atkins, Geis, Noah, and Perkins LLP as the municipal attorneys, R-S-33:386.
That's what we have now. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
I don't know if
that's
you want
not-
Evans anymore. I think he's done a great job.
So yes, I plan to keep the same. If
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'll second.
So motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilwoman Joseph. Anyone from the audience wish to say anything? Okay, can I get a roll call?
Ms. Joseph? Yes. Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Number 9, is the election of the mayor pro temp, R-S-33:405. Mr. Alvarez?
Yes, council, the mayor pro tem, the job of the mayor pro tem essentially runs the meetings in the absence of the mayor. So this is a position that the council is required to vote on. It does come with an additional, salary on top of the salary that all council members receive. What we've done in the past, whenever there's a new council, is we do a nomination process, and how we requested that the council do it in the past was essentially any council member can nominate one of their fellow council members to be mayor pro tem. That nomination doesn't require a second. You know, you can have as many nominations as you want. Once they're done, then the council members vote not by yes or no vote, by just saying the name of the person who they vote for to serve as mayor pro tem. We would ask that prior to doing this that you vote to approve that procedure. If that procedure is not used, then it would come down just to somebody would have to make a motion and then a second on the motion, and then if somebody wanted to nominate somebody else, then it would have to be a alternate motion, and then you need a second on the alternate motion, and then vote on that motion before you go back to the original motion. And if you have multiple secondary motions, this could get pretty confusing pretty quickly. So that's why we favor the first process, which is just a simple nomination process. Once that nomination process is done, the council members just vote by name for the council member that they want to serve as mayor pro tem. So if the council will vote on the procedure that it wants to use first, that would be advisable.
So we need a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
And is that, just to be clear, that's the motion to use a nomination process?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call vote. Ms. Joseph? Yes or no?
This is just on the process.
On the process. Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Ms. Payne, Ms. King.
Yes.
Motion
Okay.
passes.
All right, so the process is adopted, so now it's time to actually do the selection of mayor pro tem. So I guess the floor will be open for nominations. Again, any council member can nominate any other council member. No second is required on the nomination, and once everybody, all the nominations are done, then we'll have a vote. And you don't have to nominate anybody if you don't want to.
I'll nominate Councilwoman Gordon.
Any other nomination? Okay, so there would be no further nominations. We would ask that a vote then be taken on, Ms. Gordon has been nominated as mayor pro tem, so to record that in a vote, somebody would make that motion in second.
I'll say. You make the
We need a
motion.
motion.
I'll motion.
All right, so we have a motion for Councilwoman Gordon as mayor pro tem, and a second by Councilwoman Joseph.
You make the original motion?
Councilwoman
Okay.
Payne.
Okay. Roll call vote. Ms. Joseph? Ms. Joseph?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon,
Can I vote for myself? No?
she vote for herself.
In the past, I can tell you, 4 years ago, Councilmember Brown did not vote for himself. He abstained.
Okay, Mr. Hubble,
No.
Ms. King,
Yes.
and Ms. Payne.
Yes.
Motion passes, Councilwoman Gordon is the mayor.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, number 10, consider introducing an ordinance to increase the 2024-25 general fund budget by $125,000 to cover the cost of restrooms to be located at the base of the levee. This amount was included in the 2023-24 budget, but was not carried forward for the 2024-25 fiscal year. So I think what this is, was brought in the December meeting and it was voted down. I think the assumption was still that the bathrooms were behind this lady's house right here, off of Atchafalaya. The bathrooms will be at the levee facing River Road, against the bricks that's already, at the levee. So I'm just asking, for this to be approved. I know the mayor brought this up. Like I said, in December, it was voted down, but I'm not sure if it was clear on the understanding of where it was actually moved to.
Will it take 4 years to build like they did the last bathroom?
I think they're ready now, even if the item is not, passed tonight. We have invoices.
But
That-
this is already in our budget.
It's
for
in the
this,
budget,
so
it was in the budget, it just
Last-
wasn't transferred to the
Right.
new budget.
Okay.
Correct.
And to further, I guess piggyback on that, yeah, so this was a project that the prior council had approved and budgeted, and work actually commenced in terms of, architectural plans and specifications were created. The general contractor that got the job has actually, began incurring costs. They procured their performance bonds and have submitted invoices for that. So when the payment, there was an agenda item last month for the payment of those expenses, and that agenda item failed, which kind of put us in an overall position that needs to be decided. Is the council going to continue on with the project? Which, that was only called into question by the fact that that motion failed last month. If the council does not want to continue with that project, those bills that you've incurred still need to be paid, because at the end of the day, those people were hired, they did perform work
So we'll
up
be
to a
losing
certain
out.
point in time.
We'll be losing out if we don't go forward with it.
Well, you would avoid the future expenses, but you still gotta pay for the services that were performed up to date. That's if you don't wanna do the project. If you elect to continue on with the project, then obviously you would pay those invoices that you have right now, and, you would just continue on with the project as it was originally planned.
I'll make that motion.
And that's a motion to,
To move the
To move-
125?
Yes.
and to continue on with the project? Okay.
I'll second
So it's, motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilman Payne. Anyone from the audience have comments? Okay, hearing none, can I get a roll call?
Mrs. Joseph,
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon,
Yes.
Mr. Hubble,
No.
Mrs. King,
Yes.
Ms. Payne.
it. Yes.
Motion
Okay,
passes.
motion passed, thank you. Mr. Erico? Consider approving a final payment of $18,500 to J&G Construction for Railroad Pump Station. Mr. Erico?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Congratulations. Essentially, this is the final pay app for the railroad pump station rehab. We're actually, two contractors are working there. One is completing their part right now. This one was complete a couple months ago. You can kind of see by the date. If you look to the attached page, they provided the clear lien certificate. So that means essentially no one filed any liens against the project in the courthouse. So we recommend that this payment be made to J&G Construction in the amount of $18,500.
Okay, so I do have a question. I remember the mayor saying, former mayor, about the walkthrough. Was the walkthrough completed and the,
Yes, and there's some confusion on, because there's two contractors working in the same place. One of the things we're waiting on to be complete is actually the other contractor's responsibility. We did do a walkthrough. I did a walkthrough on the parts that this particular contractor did. I'll tell y'all right now, essentially they have to finish putting in some seal water and I think maybe a connection to the controls, and then the second pump, and the whole thing will be running. Y'all notice right now, obviously, they have that bypass pump out there that's been out there for years. And hopefully, by the time of your next meeting, or at least by next month, that'll be gone and you'll be running off of a totally new station.
okay? Can I get a motion?
I make the motion. Nobody will make a motion. Got to pay him.
One second. Okay. Motion by Councilman Hubble, second by Councilwoman Gordon. Anyone from the audience wish to be heard? Okay, can I get a roll call?
Mrs. Joseph?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. King? Yes. Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, item 12, consider approving pay application request number 1 for M-Track LLC in the amount of $28,733.76 for road rehabilitation program phase 13. Mr. Erica?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is, obviously your 13th phase of the road program. The contractor is, we actually have 2 pay applications. This particular road program covers portions of Michigan, Oregon, and Avenue A. This was obviously, the contract amount was $334,444. This was his first pay application, the amount of $28,733.76, and we recommend payment of it.
Can I get a motion? Okay. Councilman Hubble made a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. Councilwoman King? Anyone from the audience wish to be heard? Can I get a roll call?
Mrs. Joseph? Yes. Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mrs. King? Yes. Ms. Payne?
No.
No? Motion passes.
Okay, item 13. Consider approving a pay application request number 2 for M-Track LLC in the amount of $211,095.18 for 2024 road rehabilitation program phase 13. Erica?
This is just the continuation. Again, the contract's $334,000. This represents completion of up to $266,476.60 of the total work. I'll say that right now, all they have left is patching, and of course, they couldn't do it this week because it's too cold for the asphalt plants to run. So we recommend that y'all approve the pay app in the amount of $211,095 and $95.18. I will note that like all of these construction projects y'all have, it's got a retainage amount, which is essentially 10% of the project, and that we don't release the retainage until they provide us the clear lien certificate. And y'all will also have to formally approve it as substantially complete. And once you approve it as substantially complete, then their warranty, 1-year warranty period starts.
Okay. Need a motion?
Can I ask a question? Maybe while Mr. Payne may have some questions, I have questions.
Sure.
In some of the roads, we might have some dips in it.
Mhm.
Y'all go back and come and overlay, because we have puddles of water that we have never had that's just settling in the road.
I will say that obviously, we haven't punched the job out, it's not complete.
Okay.
So if there wasn't something, if a problem was created by the construction, then certainly they'll have to fix it. You know, well, it'll basically be a punch list and you'll say, and I'm just making up, it's station 173, y'all need to, you know, repave this area, put a patch over that area or something along those lines. And again, when we bring y'all substantial completion, it'll be with preliminary punch list, and certainly if there's additional things you want to add to it or want to discuss prior to the meeting, we can always do that, because the last thing we want to do is complete a job without y'all being happy.
Okay.
I know I was told that it was brought to the attention that some of the roads had dips in them. So do you have those noted, or is it something I need to get to make sure those get done? I know some of them were in Westside Village.
That I'm not in the field, so I don't personally know. We should have them noted, but I will say that obviously we'll take care of it if it was, you know, if it's created by the contractor. One thing I'll say is y'all's projects are not complete reconstruction. So if there are dips in the road already there, basically all you're doing is peeling off the existing asphalt and putting back the exact same amount. So whatever the slope was or whatever, it's gonna be that again. Now, if there wasn't a puddle there before,
Right.
and then all of a sudden you have a puddle, that's a totally different animal, obviously.
And I did bring that to Mary Lee's attention.
Right.
In front of mine. There was not a dip there, and now the water just lays there.
And that's, I would appreciate, you know, y'all certainly, hopefully everybody has my contact information. If not, I can make sure y'all get it.
We got Mr. Rennie, some of us.
Please call me, text me, email me, and I can certainly, you know, obviously take the information, or I can meet you out there, whatever y'all want. This is y'all's money, and we want you to be happy. And if something, nobody knows your road's better than you if you drive on it every day. If there wasn't a hole there, then
Of the roads.
yeah, I guess, Mayor, this is not the final pay request, and I guess what you may want to do, basically, your next pay request is going to be somewhere on the order of about 80,000. That may be the one you want to make contingent on. I mean, it's y'all's call, but this work has been done. Now, whether or not you're going to ultimately accept it, that's a whole different thing, you know. I'm just saying. And obviously, if something happens after the warranty period, then they have to fix it as well.
And how long is the warranty period?
1 year.
Can I get a motion? Okay, so motion by Councilwoman King, second by Councilwoman Joseph. Anyone from the audience wish to be heard? Okay, can I get a roll call?
Mrs. Joseph?
Yeah.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yep.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
No.
Okay, motion passes.
Councilman Payne, can you tell me which street? Which street was it?
No, Harry Brown.
Harry Brown?
Yes.
Okay, number 14, consider authorizing Mayor Pattan to advertise, interview, and hire to fill the position of payroll clerk. I resigned my position to each of the council members, so I couldn't do an emergency hire without the proper protocol. So I will be advertising, but I'm asking the council for the permission to advertise to get a payroll clerk and HR director.
And council, this would normally be something that Mayor Pattan would have brought to the personnel committee first before it reaches the regular council meeting. But as you're aware, the regular committee meetings for this month were not had because I'm following on New Year's Day. So those committee meetings are being bypassed, and it's just being brought straight to full council to go ahead and get those authorizations so that position can, they can move toward filling that position.
I still make a motion.
Okay. Motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second. Second by Councilman Hubble. Anyone from the audience? Hearing none.
Mrs. Joseph?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. King? Yes. Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, number 15, consider authorizing Mayor Pattan to increase the number of full-time cashiers in the utilities department from 2 to 3. In my years here, we've always had 3 full-time cashiers. We have 1 part-time cashier that has been asking to become full-time. From my knowledge, it was put into this current budget that we're currently in, funded, so no extra funding needs to be put in. It's already funded, according to the budget copy that I have. So I'm just asking,
Is that the part-time worker that we have now?
yes. But we'll have to advertise and open it up.
To the public.
Can I get a motion?
I make a motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilman Payne. Anyone from the audience wish to be heard? Can I get a roll call?
Mrs. Joseph? Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mrs. King? Yes. Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. 16, 17. Well, 15 and 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, 17. Consider authorizing Chief Mitchell to hire and fill 2 positions for police officers in the Port Allen Police Department. Chief Mitchell?
That first, or you want me to
But the hiring of the police.
Yeah, you can do that.
Alright, well, I got, excuse me, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all already know who she is. She, used to work with Pattan before. Unfortunately, we lost her. She had supervisor experience, and I like to bring her in. She can immediately come and assist our police department and our community. Me personally, I really believe that everything that she can do and will do, it will benefit all of us.
So how many officers do you need to hire?
Oh, as of right now, I need 7. I got 2. I got Latrice here today, and I have Rhonda Cunningham. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it here, but I've spoken with both of them, and that's due to already having the advertised. Everything was already preset. We had the advertisement already put in motion. I was able to go and interview them, talk to them, and I'm looking for to bring them on.
So how many officers do you have now?
There's 6 now.
6.
And
Vacancies, Chief?
No, I have 6 officers, and I have 7 vacancies.
7 vacancies.
Oh, wow.
Chief, how many on a normal shift, on a normal shift, do you have?
Right now?
Streets, yeah.
2.
2?
Yeah, I got 2. I got A and B shift have 2 on there, and we got half hour personnel and admin, detectives, everybody filling in roles, working overtime to fill CD rotation. That's how short we is.
And what's the optimum number per shift?
Based on the current budget, it's 4. But we've been working with 3, so my new plan is to implement 3 on each shift with 2 swing officers. So no matter what, we can always have coverage, no matter what.
When you say swing, when you say a swing officer, is that they're gonna take part of a week and the other one's gonna take part of a week?
Yeah. So let's just say one of the work Monday. It'll be 4 10-hour shifts. They'll work opposite to ensure coverage. 1 to work 8 straight on and 6 off. And based off of I left my calendar behind there. I had it set up. You ready to know something about that? He can explain it to you a little bit more complex to me. You brought it to my attention, and I like how he explained it to me, so I give him the action.
First of all, good evening. How you guys doing? Just to bring a little clarity to it, so we want to make sure and ensure coverage. You have coverage anyway, but the swing shift will add an additional officer to the short shifts already. That way, you have officers maybe call out sick or request leave. We can still grant that officer the sick leave or vacation. And we still have an additional person that will be out. The 4 10 shifts, again, they'll work opposite. That's how you get your 7-day coverage. So if you have the weekend officer, they'll work a month of weekends, and they'll start Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The other officer will come in Tuesday, and they'll work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they'll both work Fridays. The reason that's being, from the Baton Rouge Police Department, we used to do something similar to this, to ensure coverage on a very busy day, which is Fridays in Baton Rouge, but similar around other municipalities, it's still busy on Fridays. And we get a lot of high call volume, a lot of movement in the city. It helps with crime reduction, answering calls. Of course, as you know, the bridge with Rex and Coastal, we have that extra officer to help coverage. So just from a reorganization standpoint, myself and Chief Mitchell, we think that that's the best option that we have right now until we can start filling those extra positions.
So Chief, what you're asking us now is to grant you the permission to hire these 2 new officers?
Correct.
So you did interview with them?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I was able to interview with both of them. However, like I explained before, only one of them was able to make it.
In council, this agenda item is authorization to advertise, interview, and hire to fill 2 of your vacant police officer positions. It's my understanding that the prior council had actually authorized, the hiring, the advertisement and the interview of these positions. So really what you're here for tonight is to actually do the hiring to fill at least 2 of those vacant positions. So the chief has identified the 2 individuals that he wants to fill those positions. Similar to the last agenda item, normally that's something that would have gone to the personnel committee last week, but again, we didn't have that meeting. So that's why, again, it's just coming straight to the council members. So the chief does have one of those individuals here tonight. Unfortunately, the other one wasn't able to be here. If Chief, you want to bring him up?
So when will Cunningham be able to start working?
He got a couple things he got to iron out with the current administration and still do his official 2 weeks. So probably looking at it February.
Okay. You can wait that long?
Yeah, I mean, we've been getting it this time. What's a couple more days.
The 2 that you're hiring, are they gonna be considered the swing officer?
No.
Just regular?
Yeah.
So it's number 3.
Yeah.
Now let me know that they used to work in the city of Port Allen before. So.
Good evening. All right, my name is Latrice. Latrice Darden. I have nearly 7 years of law enforcement experience. Immediately after graduating college, getting a degree in criminal justice. 5 months later, I started working with Port Allen. I worked for Port Allen for 3 years. Left and went to Maryland, worked for Maryland for 3 years, and now I am ready to return home.
Are you gonna stay with us?
I am. I think.
In Latrice's defense, she left because she
I
had
know.
childcare issues
Yeah,
at the
I did
time,
not want
and they weren't working with her.
Her
We
schedule.
tried to keep her here when she did her exit interview with me. You know, so I can vouch, she really didn't want to leave, but she didn't have a choice at the time. Children come first, so.
Definitely. Okay.
So, if y'all okay with it, I'll let y'all know.
You make a motion for it?
Is that a motion to
I'll make a
go
motion for hire.
for both
For
hires?
hire.
I second.
Congratulations, welcome back home.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilwoman. Anyone from the audience have any comments? None?
Okay, Mrs. Joseph?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes?
Mr. Hubble?
Yes,
Mrs. King?
Yes,
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes.
thank you.
congratulations.
So now you want me to.
You wanna do it under announcements, or we won't have, because we didn't amend. Okay, 18, consider the introduction of an ordinance to sell the municipal property located at 605 North 15th Street, also known as 9.108 AC in section 67T75 R12E, designee a lot C and D, PA 2-85. Mr. Joseph?
Good evening. It is my understanding that all of you members of the council,
We can't hear you.
it's my understanding that all of you members of the council have been in contact with Mr. David Strange of a development company that is interested in acquiring the city property located at 605 North 15th Street. It's roughly 9 acres that we refer to as the Garden of Eden. It's currently being used as a waste area for mostly materials left over from construction projects, road construction and the like. The property is currently zoned, I believe, C1, which permits residential development. It is being proposed as an additional residential development within the city. And the revised statutes of the state of Louisiana require an ordinance for us to sell municipal property. So tonight is just the introduction of an ordinance. I believe there's some other details that may need to be worked out, but at least it gets the process started. And he's been in contact with each of you, with my understanding.
Council members, you should have a draft ordinance in front of you. And again, you know, just the introduction of an ordinance is really just the start of the ordinance process. But yeah, as you can see in the ordinance, it's for what is currently a 9.108 acre tract of land located in section 67, township 7 South, range 12E. The tract of land currently bears the municipal address of 605 North 15th Street. I spoke with Mr. Strange prior to the meeting. He is here tonight, and probably the council, I'm sure, will want to hear from him. But they're actually only looking to acquire 8 acres out of that approximately 9 acre tract. As part of the ordinance, the city is supposed to set forth the minimum price for the tract of land as well as certain terms and conditions. So in this draft ordinance, we have set the minimum sales price of the property as $700,000 or the appraised value of the property, whichever is greater. So if the property appraises at $200,000, they would have to pay the city $700,000 for the piece of property. If the property appraises for $800,000, they would have to pay the city $800,000 for the piece of property. I understand appraisals are being solicited currently. The sale of the property, as per this ordinance, would also be contingent upon the following. The city's future agreement to rezone the property as needed to accommodate the development. The city's future approval of the proposed construction plans prepared by the developer. Again, this is more just, you know, the schematic drawings, if you will. I know the city isn't, you know, you're not looking at where I-beams and stuff like that are going to be located. You just want to see the overall layout of the property. And then number 3, the city's future negotiation, approval, and execution of an active sale with the developer. So again, this is just the draft ordinance that we would need to introduce in order to start the process. This ordinance would have to be publicized 3 times within a 15-day period in your official journal. Should you vote to introduce it, and I believe Mr. Strange is here to speak to the council about this property.
Ma'am.
He was asking about the photos, he said we needed photos.
Okay, we'll see.
Go ahead.
I'm David Strange, here to discuss our proposed development of the acres the city has. In discussions with the previous mayor and the current mayor, I understood that the city wanted to retain about 1 acre to 1.25 acres of the frontage of the property to continue to use that for purposes of a lay-down yard or storage of extra materials. So when we ultimately get a survey done, it'll just be of the 8-acre portion, and we will provide a gated access and a fence for the municipal retained portion of that property. In speaking with y'all, our proposal is to build 44 housing units on that property under the Community Development Block Grant Program. I brought some last time when we spoke, I was ill prepared with some photographs, so I did bring several photographs of a couple of properties that we have finished here in the last couple of years. We've done 50 of these over the last 20 years. We do a lot of disaster recovery and things of that nature, affordable housing projects. The funding mechanism on this particular housing development is part of a disaster grant the state of Louisiana got of about $1.2 billion for recovery efforts under hurricanes Ida, Laura, and Delta. And one of the things that one of the restrictions on the funds is that any housing development be built as flood-proof, disaster-proof, and hurricane resilient. So, like the doors are steel framed, the windows are all impact resistant, there's tie-down hardware. All the houses come with already built-in backup generator powers and all that kind of stuff, so that to the extent possible, that they can weather the impact of storms and things of that nature. The total development cost is $15 million, and that includes the $700,000 that we would pay for the land. It would put a fairly significant valuation on the city's property tax rolls. It would generate some sales tax revenue for the city. We buy all of the materials here locally and things like that. And the construction company that builds these projects for us, they do not self-perform on their contracts, so they retain local subcontractors and local material that they're a paper contractor, if you will, and so there'll be lots of job opportunities. Once the development is completed, since we retain control over it, there will be full-time employment positions for community manager and community supervisor, maintenance personnel, things of that nature, to make sure that the houses and lawns and all that kind of stuff are maintained by us. I had those things up. I can show just a couple. Okay, give me a second. I'll keep talking. One of the things that the state considered in making these grants to the different municipalities and parishes around the state were under a housing need commission that was done as part of the allocation of these disaster funds, and West Baton Rouge Parish had, depends on the phraseology, a low but yet high score, meaning that that by putting these number of housing units on the ground in West Baton Rouge Parish, it would satisfy less than 1% of the demand in the parish for affordable housing of this nature. And so there was tremendous demands into that market study, which is one of the large things the state took into consideration when they were handing out these federal grants. Yeah, there you go. So that's the side of the property right there on North 15th Street.
It's not in.
Oh, Nani, I'm sorry. We didn't get present.
Just the advance.
He's putting on there.
We got it.
Just tell her.
Okay, I can, oh,
No, I wasn't.
yeah, you can go with that. That's just a, excuse me,
I'm sorry.
no problem. Go ahead. That's just a rough draft of a site plan that just shows on the upper right-hand corner, the acre that's being left out, and the gray shaded areas are areas that are being undeveloped and left for the potential of retention, detention as needed for stormwater management. It'll be all underground utilities and all curb and guttered, and so, but there is plenty of excess green space for that kind of stuff. Go ahead.
So duplex.
And then it's,
No, they're gonna be houses.
yes, ma'am.
I
Yeah.
thought so,
And
duplex
so
only.
Yeah.
it's currently zoned commercial, but we think that R3 is, in my reading and speaking with Mr. Alvarez and Mr. Joseph, the zoning that we would need, which operates kind of like a PUD in some other bigger cities, where you can have mixed-use housing, different size housing, different variations, and under y'all's R3 ordinance, it allows us to do that versus getting a planned unit development, and because under y'all's ordinance, that takes a much larger piece of property, so it's a way to kind of accomplish that goal on a smaller piece. Those were just some of the numbers I talked about on the cost there. The whole development is all ADA accessible. There's green spacing, the community center, perimeter fenced. Go ahead. This is a housing development that we recently did in Jackson, Mississippi. That just shows kind of what one of the housing types that we put on these lots. Those are all 3-bedroom homes. Go ahead. This is one that we finished 2 years ago in Bogalusa, Louisiana, and this has a mix of 1, 2s, and 3s, which is kind of like what we're proposing here, but with standalone structures. That's also the development there in Bogalusa we finished 2 years ago, and that's one that we just finished in Natchitoches, Louisiana. It actually just got finished in the end of last year. That is in Tupelo, Mississippi. That was finished about 3 years ago. That's a townhouse development, and these are just, we don't try to reinvent the wheel, so our interiors would kind of do the same. We had a decorator and consulting firms come in on the front end, so we tend to do a lot of the same things, so that's kind of typically what our interiors look like on all of these units. Okay. I think that's.
And what's your price point?
Ma'am.
What's your price point?
So we maintain ownership of these units and we lease them. And so because we get that federal grant to pay for these, there are three, it would be, if you take 15 million and divide it by 44 units, 340,000 a house. And so we would never be able to rent a 1-bedroom house for enough money for that to make sense. And so we set the rents at $1,200 for a 1-bedroom, $14 for a 2, and $16 for a 3. And we just own and maintain that. And because it's a grant, we don't have a lot of debt service or expense other than the upkeep of the property, which allows us to.
And so y'all maintain the property?
We do.
So you say you will be leasing it out?
Yes, ma'am.
And what, that's a yearly lease or?
It's a year lease, yes, ma'am.
So do you renew your lease?
Yes, you certainly have the option to renew the lease. And we find, frankly, that's commonly what occurs, that once tenants move in these communities, that typically stay. They're very affordable and they're usually well appointed, and so we have a tremendous demand for
So what's
these.
the requirement?
A clear criminal background report and a decent credit score, I would say. You know, it's not 750, but it's not, 450 either. It would probably be about 550 to 575, I would think, in this market. And then landlord referrals, references, credit checks, and a background check.
And it's gonna be gated, right?
Yeah, yes.
So will these houses be eligible for Section 8?
But no, sir.
No, not if they lease.
I know we had the meeting, I had to leave from the meeting,
Yes.
but while I was a part of the meeting, I know I questioned about the amounts, and it was brought to my attention that some people prefer to lease, especially if they're not, ready to technically be a homeowner, to purchase a home and be responsible for a lot of the upkeep of a home of their own. It's the same basically as renting a apartment, but it's a house. So I had those questions myself, if you remember.
Yes.
But I like these pictures better than the pictures
yes.
that I did see. I wasn't feeling the other ones, but so we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
I don't think the requirements are bad. Requirements, like I said, it's the same basically as an apartment. So, hopefully it attracts some.
And we're able to be super, super selective because unlike an apartment, they've got a big mortgage they got to pay, and so they got to have tenants. And with us, because it's so affordable and there's no debt on it because of the grants that are involved, we're able to really pick and choose the residents that we want to stay with for a long time and make it a good community.
Okay, and what comes in them? Like refrigerators,
All the,
stoves,
yes,
any appliances?
and a washer and dryer. They come full hookups, full utilities. And in addition to the impact, it's called fortified housing that gets inspected, and you've got to do, like for instance, we have to use treated lumber when we build the things instead of just regular 2x4s so it can withstand inundation from water and a flood and things like that. But additionally, it has to be green certified, so all the appliances are Energy Star and all that kind of stuff. So they're also affordable to have your electric bill and utilities.
And you did say stone ready, so they have their own generators in the light store.
Yes, ma'am.
The houses have their own generators?
Yes.
How many houses you say you want to be?
44.
44?
Yes, ma'am.
And then they're introducing them.
Yes, so council members, if you're interested in proceeding with this, we would need the council to move forward with the introduction of an ordinance. Again, introducing an ordinance is just the start of the process. It doesn't mean it's a done deal. After you introduce an ordinance, there's some particular requirements when a municipality is selling land. Again, it's going to have to be advertised 3 times within a 15-day period in your official journal. Just like any other ordinance, you'll have to have a public hearing before the council votes whether to finally adopt the ordinance or not at a subsequent meeting. So, again, this is just to at least move forward conceptually with this, to start the advertising and all that. There would then have to be a public hearing at a later date, and the council would then have to meet and vote again in terms of whether to adopt the ordinance. As we've drafted this ordinance, even if the ordinance is adopted, obviously there's still some other things that the council are going to have to do in agreement with the property owner for this to ever come to fruition, such as the kind of conceptual approval of the plans, agreeing to rezone the property, and negotiating the actual act of sale.
Thank you. If anybody has any additional questions, I'm available.
So, yeah, we will need a motion and a second to move forward.
Motion by Councilwoman Joseph, second by Councilman Payne. Anyone from the audience? Yes, ma'am. Can you come up and state your name?
She would have come up with things.
Can you come up and state your name, please?
I'm just curious. What is your occupancy rate on your property?
Right, it's 100%.
100%? Oh, I don't believe that. I have rental property, and some of the stuff he's spelling out does not even make sense to this area. For a 1-bedroom, 12, and he's having all this stuff? No, there's no way. Because you can go right across the bridge and rent a nice 1-bedroom furnished for $800.
What is it?
Okay? Unless he's getting some other money from somewhere else, this needs to be clear. Because what he's spouting over here, I know the market. And some of y'all have property, and y'all know the market. And what he's selling right here, I ain't buying, I'm sorry. And I'd love to know how solvent this company is. I want to see their financial background. I want to know how successful they are. Because this is going to affect our town tremendously. And I don't think we have the infrastructure to support this. So we need to do investigation on this company. They may be getting government funding, but the stuff he's spouting off, there's already issues with DSL that's unresolved. This looks like a DSL commercial. I'm sorry. We need to know more about the solvency of this company and the rates that he's charging. I don't think, I'm sorry, I just don't, I don't know.
Mr. Strange,
Yes, ma'am.
can you come back up
Sure.
and answer some of her questions?
I'm not sure I understood the question. As mentioned, we've done 50 of these developments in the last 20 years. Total cost of those developments is over $500 million. We have done a development in New Roads, and Mr. Iroquois, I think, was involved in maybe looking at that with the city. I don't remember.
Maybe the sewer or something.
Yeah, and then we did one in Iberville, across the river in St. Gabriel a number of years ago. And so we've certainly worked in the area, but we work throughout the southeast.
You have a email address that you can give Ms. Maggie?
Sure.
Ms. Maggie, you want
And
some
did you say you're
information?
not accepting any kind of public assistance for the renters?
No.
I don't know how it just doesn't make sense.
It's because of the grant. We don't have the debt that a normal person would have.
So you're charging 12 people for a 1-bedroom that they can get back rich for $800.
This house in Baton Rouge would be $2,500.
I beg to differ with you because
Yes,
I
ma'am.
own property in Baton Rouge.
I'm
And
okay.
I rent for that.
Thank you, Mrs.
Yes,
Strange.
So my question is
Can you come to the podium? Can you come to the podium?
It's set in stone, 1,200
Same.
14.
Yes.
Okay. Of course, I have a big issue with it. We forgot that we don't have a wastewater treatment plant. Like, this land was bought in 1992. And it was sold through a judgment by the West Baton Rouge Bank. So we've been having 9 acres of land. And we've been scrounging around looking for property, a land to build a wastewater treatment plant. Even to have this land utilized for the purpose of being a feeder to help take some of the strain off the plant that we have now. But we're looking to bring in development into the city, and we have infrastructure issues, we have public safety issues. It's the same developers that we basically turned away here on Court Street. So now we're gonna bring them to this area to use 9 acres of land that's owned by the city that we can utilize ourselves. I'm not really
Well, I'll
understanding.
address it. I asked that question when the mayor took me around to show me the different wells and the different property that's associated in the city, and I asked that question. Why can't we use this property for our wastewater treatment plant? Because that would make sense. He said because of the storing of equipment that I think the maintenance department has been using, and things from past that may be buried under some of the land, that was probably not the best property for us to use for a wastewater treatment plant. So that's just I asked that question because it made sense. But,
I mean,
you know, that's what
that's some of the things that he's gonna have to look at when he gets to developing, some of the things that's buried under the land and all of that. But I'm saying, before we look at selling property that we own, we have we've had property that was sold before, years ago. Just recently, as of the 4 years I was on the council, we had 2 separate properties that we looked at along I-10, if I'm not mistaken, Highlands, and the sugarcane growers. Nothing has come of that, nothing. But we have land that we own, and we won't consider having the waste treatment facility there, or some type of, like I said, a feeder, because would it not tunnel straight to the facility that we have now, and wouldn't it be ideal?
I think part of it too.
I think it's a tunnel
was-
process, it's probably more to it than anybody.
But it's still in a residential.
It'd be in the
To
neighborhood.
address your concern, when this proposal came about, I contacted an appraiser to have the property appraised because that's part of the process. And in reviewing the property to determine whether she was going to undertake the engagement, she said she's going to appraise it from a residential use perspective because that is the most efficient use based on what's around it. That property is bordered by apartments already, it's bordered by a nursing home, it's bordered by a single family residential. It is not an ideal location for a wastewater treatment facility. The main reason we are looking for a new location is not only capacity, but it's also location. Okay, it's bordered by residential properties as well. So we are looking for a piece of property to put it in a more suitable location so it does not border upon residential development, past, present, or future. That's why we're looking down in the cane field. Because
We've been unsuccessful with that.
Well, it's a process, Ms. Lacy, and as you know, just like we have to introduce an ordinance to sell this property, we have ways to acquire property, but you have to go through the fair market first. And the main obstacle in utilizing the fair market process is the appraisal process, because the landowner has to agree to give access to the property for that appraisal. We have not been able to obtain that. So we are looking at different other ways to obtain an appraisal, but they take more time. If you want to know, it's going to probably have to be an aerial, drone-based appraisal, because they don't own the air, but they own the land. So you have to identify specific people to do that, and it takes longer. And once we get that, because we have to make an offer before we can expropriate it. And the offer has to be based on the market value of that appraisal, and then if it's rejected, then we can begin expropriation proceedings to acquire it under state law.
You said with the land that you...
Any land that we want to look at. Yeah, we have to do it a certain way. It takes us a little longer to move. The government, we have different boxes to check and I's to dot and T's to cross. So
But I'm saying, based on the situation now, what land do we have that we could secure, or that we could even possibly, the possibility of securing land that can also meet the needs, as Mr. Tony was saying, where we have to make sure it's feeding and getting to the river and all of that. Like, what other areas do we have available? I mean, even if we have to utilize what we have now, I'm sure it won't be in the condition, or you won't have the smells and all that we have at this plant, because it's failing. So in this area, I'm sure we won't have those issues that we was looking at before, of course, being residential, but hey, those areas, it ain't all the way, but anyway, it still would seem to me a good place.
That's the engineer standing right behind you.
Okay.
He is involved. I mean, I hate to tell you,
But he's the one
I hate to
who
do it
has-
to you,
I mean,
Tony,
he'll be the one.
but you, have we not had this conversation about,
Yes,
he's involved in determining feasibility right now for the other side. So-
Yeah, I will say, obviously, over the years, we've located grass, green treatment plants, and obviously it's very difficult because of the, what's it called, NIMBY, not in my backyard. Very few people are excited about having a treatment plant in their backyard, whether it's, and so most of our success in the recent past has been remote locations. That's just how it's been. The one we did in Plaquemine is literally in a cane field that nobody knows it's there. There's been several others. If you could find a place that's already like refineries, which this particular cane field is near a refinery, that is more ideal from a public acceptance. That's all. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not an engineering decision, it's more.
But it's involved, so you understand.
But I'm just saying that the challenge is in that, it's like even if we're trying to go into this long, drawn out process with eminent domain and all that, these city can't growers is not getting up off their land like that. I'm saying I'm just saying they're not getting up off of it like that. You're gonna go into a long legal negotiation with this, but that is a place that is considered.
That is an issue that arose 30 years ago or more. So I'm not gonna try to address it because I had nothing to do with it. All I can do is play the hand I'm dealt right now. And the hand we're dealt is saying that this property is better suited for residential use. I'm sorry.
Let's move on to, the next topic.
Okay,
I said let's move
no
on to the
problem.
next topic.
And that's it. I mean, that's
You
it.
gonna bring in your own sewer treatment, you gonna bring that in? Cause I promise you, we can't manage the demand for this development.
The new subdivision that we are currently Westview, they have their own sewer treatment.
Oh, I know, I'm asking him to
So-
bring his.
Okay, Westview is 650 planned houses. This is 44. We can accommodate 44.
Yeah,
We could not accommodate 650.
Okay, let's move to,
Just real quickly, and I don't remember if you realize it's been a number of years, but the development that we did in St. Gabriel, once we got into the engineering and everything, we did have to go make an improvement to the municipal sewer system for any additional capacity, and we ended up spending several $100,000 of the project's money to help bolster that system and everything. And so once we get into the design phase and all this, that's something we're certainly.
and I know Mayor Johnson,
Yeah.
in St. Gabriel, so I'll reach out to him, or his clerk.
Yeah.
She's our LAMSA president, and see how they came about with the project.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, item 19.
You have a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You have a motion on the floor.
Okay.
Took a vote.
Take
The motion was Mr. Joseph and seconded by Mr. Payne
Yes.
to consider introducing an ordinance to sell the municipal property located at 605 North 15th Street, also known as 9.108 AC in section 67C75 RJ2E, lots C and D. Of course, I just said Mrs. Joseph made the motion, Mr. Payne seconded. We'll have a roll call vote.
Okay.
Mrs. Joseph? Yes. Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
No.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 19, consider the introduction of an ordinance to increase the salary of city council members by $2,600 annually. Mr. Joseph?
I was asked to put this on the agenda.
Is it?
That's all I'm saying.
I think it was brought, by the previous, administration, at least the conversations.
I think this was a topic that was had in December by the prior city council, and they elected to defer it to the following month, which would be this month. Mr. Joseph did put the agenda item as requested. We had a draft ordinance prepared for last meeting. We didn't know what the numbers would be, so we did see the agenda item, and we have inserted those numbers into the draft ordinance that you should have in front of you. So again, this draft ordinance does, there's really two substantive sections on it, Section 1, Section 2. Section 1 just states what the annual salary for each council member, Port Allen would be, which would increase to $14,600 per year, which of course that amount is divided amongst 26 pay periods, if that's correct. Yeah, so 26 pay periods, which is what city employees, their pay is divided over, so $14,600 per year divided amongst 26 pay periods. The council member serving as mayor pro tem shall receive an additional payment of $900.16 per year. Again, that's not changing. That's what it currently is right now. So that is not a new change. We're just putting that in the ordinance for clarity. Section 2 of the ordinance is what makes changes to Section 2-1 of Article 2 of Chapter 2 of your Port Allen Code of Ordinances. That's that big thick binder that sometimes you see me carrying. That has all your essentially your code of ordinances in there. In that section, it has the salaries of all the other, kind of the departments, or I would call it statutorily required positions. The city has never had the salary of the council members in that ordinance. For whatever reason, it was done via separate ordinance. So for purposes of clarity, we are also proposing that if the council is going to do that, you go ahead and amend Section 2-1 of your Code of Ordinances as well to put in that same that salary requirement in there as well. So it's up there in the same location as the mayor, the chief of police, the court judge of Ward 3, constable, and municipal clerk. So again, the numbers are the same in both sections of the ordinance, but we feel it's probably best just to have them in one tidy location in your Code of Ordinances.
So, in case someone has a question about the 2,600, it's just only that it's be a $200 increase, correct?
So the increase is $2,600 annually. So what you would do is you would take that $2,600 annual increase, and of course you would again divide that by 26 pay periods, and whatever that number is, that's how much each payment would be every time. But it's $2,600 over the course of the year. So again, that brings the annual salary to $14,600, and that's how we styled the ordinance based on an annual salary, because that's how the other salaries are dressed and styled in your ordinances as well.
That would increase it $100 per pay.
Yeah, $100 per person. I'll make a motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second. Second by Councilwoman Payne. Any comment?
Mr. Joseph?
No,
We have a comment.
You got a comment?
Is there one person here? Y'all just got elected. Is there one person here that didn't know what the salary was?
Yeah, we know what the
I
salary
think this was
was.
addressed, Miss Maggie,
You know,
before.
but we're in line with everyone else, okay? We're much larger cities. We have real issues. And to come in and want a raise, I'd rather see him get a raise.
You gonna get one
I would
too,
rather see other people get a raise.
and not us.
Show me something, and then maybe I'll say.
Ms.
But
Gregory,
what
I
I'm
didn't know
seeing
how much
right
that-
now, Ms. Joseph, excuse me,
Ms.
I
Joseph, you
can
have to
speak.
say nothing. Thank you.
Roll call.
Okay, can we get a roll call?
Ms. Joseph? Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
You know, I'm probably, I'm a taxpayer, man, this is rural.
This is preface
And
my,
I'm the same.
Excuse me.
let me preface my vote by, we have ongoing issues with sewer. While I know this is a drop in the bucket compared to the millions that will have to be spent on a new sewer treatment plant, I don't think it does well for us to say we need any more money when we have people that have toilets that don't flush. We have a crumbling system. I think that's where we need to focus on overall on the city.
We will focus on it.
So my vote is no.
That's right.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Who came up with the dollar amount? That's what I wanna know.
Motion
Who came up with
passes.
the dollar amount? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
We just told you it's $100
Because once
each
we learned that the
pay.
city of Port Allen is more than both of this.
Well, y'all be respectful.
Yeah, the motion is on, we're on to the next item.
No, I ain't never said no.
Okay, we're on to the next item.
Why can't
We're taxpayers, we have the right to be heard.
But
This was brought up last year in December, and I didn't, excuse me, and I didn't hear anyone come and comment or say anything, about the item.
Because it was continued to this year, that's why.
But it was discussed then, and you had a chance to voice your opinion about it.
Because it was continued to this year. What was the purpose?
we just had public.
Yeah, we just had public comment. Okay, item 20, presentation of the monthly financial report. Ms. Katrina Davis.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and citizens. In front of you, you have, and I apologize, I'm a little hoarse today. In front of you, you have a spreadsheet that
They have it, I know we can't hear her. Now, Clarice, you know better. You've been on this board long enough to be out here talking loud like that.
I'm sorry, can we get some clarity on the last vote or whatever the decision was? We deserve some clarity.
The
We
vote,
can't just move on.
the vote was 4 yes,
4-1.
1 no.
Seriously, so y'all just gave yourselves away?
Yes,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Jesus.
Yes, ma'am.
That was the
Ms.
introduction of
Davis?
the ordinance. That was not passed.
Thank you, just the ordinance.
Yeah, that, just to be clear, that's the introduction
Right.
of an ordinance.
Right.
That's not the final vote of
Right.
it. Just like any other ordinance, this now has to be advertised and it goes to a public hearing. The final vote will be at another meeting. So no, that it's not final tonight. This was just to
It said ordinance,
introduce
yes.
the ordinance.
Right.
Thank you.
Ms. Davis.
Again, I apologize, I'm a little hoarse today, I'm not feeling well. But you will find a spreadsheet in front of you that looks like this. And my job is to present a financial report. The way I do this is if you look at the spreadsheet, it's broken down into divisions within the city. And if you look out, well, let me just go column by column so you can understand. The first column is the amount that was budgeted for the year under each category. The second column is what has been spent year to date, and this would be as of 12/31. The next column would be the balance that's remaining in the balance. The percent YTD is the amount that has been spent as of today, or year to date. Then you have something that says remaining underneath. It tells you what percentage of that budget is remaining for the remainder of the year. And the total, which should always total 100%. So if you look down, you will see animal control is at 50%, and we are halfway through the year now. So everything should be roughly around 50%. give or take a couple of
You say we halfway through the year?
Halfway through the fiscal year.
Fiscal
Oh,
year.
fiscal, okay.
Our fiscal year is July 1st through June the 30th. So as of December the 31st, we were halfway through our fiscal year. Thank you, and I apologize. I'm not saying fiscal year. Our protective services, I said that, all of them basically still have 50% remaining or more. As far as the budget, except fleet maintenance. Fleet maintenance has 76%. So everything is pretty much okay except the sewer system. And as you have heard, we have major problems with the sewer system. That is on page 4 of 5. So we're gonna have to find some money to pay for some of the stuff that's going on with the sewer system. You have any questions? Councilman Johnson?
I see it. So we're gonna have to find some money to pay for what?
The sewer system. Yeah, we have major problems with the sewer
I'm
system.
sorry, the sewer system is right behind my house.
And
So,
basically, we have spent all of the budget that has been allowed this year.
On repairing the sewer system?
Correct.
So all the repairs not working? Is that what you're saying?
That would be a question for Mr. Erico to answer.
Well, he's right
Part of
there.
the issue is during the last budget process, if you recall, those of you who carried over, we have added $400,000 a year for sewer system improvements over the last 3 or 4 years. Last budget year, that $400,000 was not appropriated in the capital outlay process. I don't know if it was an oversight or how, or if it was just removed because of how the numbers fell. So that $400,000 wasn't available to us. So it went back it came from the current regularly budgeted amounts. That was $400 extra.
okay.
Okay. So we've been doing that for the last 3 years, but last year it wasn't put into the budget.
Okay.
So we don't have it.
It was in the proposed budget.
Well, it wasn't appropriate. It wasn't passed. Okay. So I don't have access to it.
Okay.
And so we're pretty much where we are on a regular year. We don't have excessive expenditures. We have less budgeted funds because of what happened during the budget process before that started in July.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
Any questions?
I just wanna, with this budget thing, can we get this here to us before meeting? Can we get like 2-3 days before the meeting? So we really can look at the budget and see your financing, what needs to be done, or we have questions to ask you?
Yes, ma'am. Everybody has a city email address.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, everybody has one. You may not know it, but it will be given to you, and I will start emailing those on Fridays or Monday.
Well, what you do? Monday's fine.
Monday is fine. I will
Which y'all
email
do,
you
Monday or
before.
Friday?
I'm trying to get the agenda out by Mondays, so. I would
So
say
y'all
Monday.
prefer to have the email by Friday and Monday? I mean, not just for me, it's for all of us, so.
Monday's fine.
Okay, I can do it. And y'all can call me at any point in time if y'all have any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer.
And man, we still need the service of Falcon Whipper since behind this Katrina here.
As far as I know, Falcon Winkler is still helping doing certain things in the office. Again, that was under former mayor, the contract. I have not talked with them since I've taken over. I plan to have a meeting with Tommy, which is Michelle, who's here on site supervisor, and we'll go on to see.
I mean, I don't see fair where we need to be paying Ms. Davis and them. Ms. Davis, I'm quite sure you're up to speed with what your job title is. Or you still need assistance from them?
I have asked Brian Mayor to release him and he did not.
I will have a conversation with Tommy. 21, condemnation proceedings.
None of that's time here.
22, alcohol and beverage permits. Mr. Joseph.
Alright, so these are the remaining permits that were not submitted prior to the December meeting. Rose Food Mart, 930 North Alexander Avenue, Class B liquor. Paul Ladeka, doing business as Couillon's Cajun Barbecue, Class A liquor. Phoebe One Incorporated Island Food Mart, 141 North 15th Street, Class A liquor. Port Island Seafood, 719 Alexander, Port Island Class B liquor. Sasco LLC Chevron Food Mart, Class B liquor. Marlin Landry, Pick a Pack, 306 South Alexander Avenue, Port Island, Class A beer. Kamal Saleh, doing business as K&M, 705 North Alexander Avenue, Port Island. I'm sorry.
Different. The Port Island Seafood, that's Carville?
No, that's the old Quick and Handy.
That's
Quick and Handy.
719, that's it. The old Quick and Handy, correct.
I didn't know that was
And one did not make, we received it at like 4:48 yesterday, and the agenda had already been disseminated, so it was Easy In Out Incorporated, 430 North Alexander Avenue, Class B liquor. I'll defer to Mr. Alvarez on how y'all want to handle that, but I would ask that those that are listed on your agendas be renewed. These are all renewals, so renewed in global.
So you want to include Easy Mile?
They do.
Yes.
They have
They have video poker machines, so they have a video permit.
Are we saying that we are gonna add Easy Mile to this, or we have to vote on it later?
So if it's the pleasure of the council, what I would suggest is if the council's pleasure, approve the agenda item as is, and then if the council wants to take up the one that they got in yesterday, a motion would need to be made to amend the agenda to add that. So I would say let's take up item 22 first.
Okay, so a motion in global for all of these that's listed.
Good.
Councilwoman Gordon. And then Councilman Hubble, second.
Call the vote. We'll have Ms. Joseph.
Yes.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes.
Mr. Hubble.
Yes.
Ms. King. Yes. Mr. Payne.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay, and do you want to add Easy Mile now or wait till
Well,
next month?
yes, you can. I make a motion to.
So that would be a motion to amend the agenda
yeah.
to add consideration of the alcohol beverage permit by.
Easy In Out Incorporated.
And remember, council members, in order to amend the agenda, it must be a unanimous vote of the council to amend the agenda. So the first step is we need to decide if we're going to amend the agenda. Ms. Gordon has made a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilman Hubble. Can I get a roll call?
Comments from the audience?
Comments from the audience? Roll call.
Mrs. Joseph. Mr. Gordon.
Yes.
Ms. Gordon. Mr. Hubble.
Yes.
Mrs. King. Yes. Mr. Payne.
Yes.
Motion passed.
You have now amended your agenda to add that as an item, so now we're to the substantive item about considering that permit.
So we need a motion to add Easy Mile
A motion to approve.
to approve the alcohol permit.
Well,
Okay.
Hubble did.
Okay, so motion by Councilman Hubble, second by Councilwoman Gordon. Any comments from the public? Roll call.
Ms. Joseph. Ms. Gordon.
Yes.
Mr. Hubble.
Yes.
Ms. King. Yes. Payne.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, so under announcements and correspondence, because we were, didn't have the committee meeting, last week, we're gonna ask Chief, you doing it or?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, he's gonna present the, report that would have been done at committee meeting tonight. Okay?
Good evening again, guys. So, for the month of December, our agency responded to 242 calls for service. And broken down further, we had 29 alarms, 11 6 with the fire department, 3 harassment, 3 suspicious persons, one miscellaneous, 2 improper telephone communications, 2 custody matters, 14 disturbances, 2 attempted vehicle burglaries, 3 assaults, 5 deaths. We had a field interview, 1 loss of stolen property, 1 found property, 6 hit and run, 5 remain after forbidden, 3 damage to property, 5 traffic stops, 2 civil matters, 1 official warrant to return, 5 suspicious activities, 5 checked persons, 1 death, 53 medical calls, 2 911 hang-up calls, 2 fraud, 2 traffic complaints, 1 missing person, 1 identity theft, 5 animal calls, 3 domestic disturbances, 21 informational reports, and 1 assist person. In total, our agency arrested 18 people. 2 are from the disturbances, 1 hit and run, 1 obscenity, 2 resisting officer, 1 threatening a public official, 2 civil battery, 1 improper telephone communications, 3 from domestic disturbances, 1 criminal mischief, 1 burglary, 1 criminal trespass, 1 violation of protective order, 2 cruelty to juvenile, 4 fugitive warrant arrests, 1 city ordinance for owner responsibilities of animals, and 1 disturbing the peace by fighting. Also, our agency investigated 37 crashes. 3 of those were private property, and our officers issued 26 traffic citations.
Detective Smith, what is a field interview?
So a field interview is anytime you stop a person, it could be an anonymous complaint that comes to our communication center. It's not enough to arise to an arrest, traffic complaint. It could just be a sort of a suspicious person, but you do gather that person's information, and that officer ultimately wrote a report for it. So those are field interviews.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor, if I may, on behalf of Casey Collins and myself, we just would like to thank the mayor and the council for the vote of confidence, allowing us to continue on with you. We've thoroughly enjoyed our work with the city, and we look forward to that relationship. Well, thank you for that.
Thank you. You have something, Mr. Okay, so I have a few announcements. The first announcement, City Hall will be closed for Martin Luther King holiday, which is January 20th, 2025. Also, Poplar Grove Church, which they have their annual Martin Luther King program. They've been for years that I can remember. The service will be that day at 10 a.m. Also, I had an idea that I want to bring forward to everyone for something that we can start. I was a debutante before, and something we did during Black History Month was get on the radio and pick a person that we were, trying to model or that had great, strides in the world, basically, because it was Martin Luther King and other people. So what I want to bring to the city of Port Allen is nominating some people right here in our hometown. So I think, would have loved to put together a prayer breakfast, but because just taking office and it's next month, I just thought this would be a good idea to start and to keep the tradition up, possibly. Just anyone that you want to nominate, they can be sent to myself, mayor@portallen.org, or Pattan, I still use my same email as well, tpattan@portallen.org, or to Miss Rose or Roche@portallen.org. A small paragraph, not a paper, but something that we can possibly post on our website, the city website, as well as our city Facebook page. I just thought that would be something, we had people in the community that have done great things in this community, and I just think that will be a way to, to show our appreciation to them. Again, you can send the emails to myself or Ms. Rose, and we'll make sure that they get on the website and the city's Facebook page.
Are you talking about deceased or living?
Either
Okay.
one. We'll go through them because we may get the same one from, a couple February's from February 1st to the 28th. So if you possibly don't see your person, don't hold it, don't hold us to it. We're going to try to go through them and post one, hopefully we can try to do it every day in February. But I wanted to say that because the next meeting isn't until February 5th. So February it will start already. No other comments? Okay. Adjourn.